What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be checking out a pair of grip socks, and these grip socks come from a new company called Havo. So Havo was actually nice enough to send me a pair of their grip socks for review, and I got them a month ahead, so I've had them early just so that I can test them out and provide some feedback. So it was a pretty cool experience being able to get these early and provide feedback to the Havo team, just to like share thoughts, what I liked, what I didn't like. So this here is the final product, and for the most part, they're the same. They made a few changes, but I believe they're really small changes. So for the most part, this is the final product, and this is a new pair. So this is the pair that I have been testing and using. So as you can see, they're kind of dirty, well worn. I had these for about I think a month before the launch, which is today. So yeah, so I got some pretty good wear, and I have my thoughts about these socks, and I'm able to give you guys a review. So this is the packaging that it comes in. Pretty standard packaging. In the back here, you do have different stuff that they highlight, like the lycra material, the X support, nano grip, and turbo cooling. You guys can see the size there, which is one size, US 7 to US 11. So you could tear it. I usually just pop it open and pull out the socks. And I believe, yeah, you do get a set of stickers. There's this one, and there's another one around here. There we go. There's the other one. So two stickers and this little message from the Havo team. You guys can pause it right there. But yeah, that is all you get. And here are the socks themselves. But yeah, I guess we'll just start off with the grips themselves, since that is, the important part of a grip sock. So this here is like a nano grip yarn that's just built into the sock. So wherever the gray is basically like the grippy material. And the grips themselves, I will say, like it doesn't feel super grippy in hand, but I feel like it does a decent job. I will say that you need to wash them before you try them, just because I did use them like this without washing them, and I found that they weren't that grippy. But after I washed them, they felt just a little bit grippier. So with the grips, there, like I said, there is a pretty good surface area here in the forefoot, and it comes up just a little bit here on the sides, not too much on both sides, and it's in the heel, and it goes up the heel, which is nice. I really like that they decided to go up the heel just to provide the little bit of extra grip. But here in the back, just prevent any slippage like up and down. I really appreciate that. Other grip socks don't really do that. They just put grips here in the bottom. Here in the middle, there is no grip, just so you have this little bit of an elastic band, which is good, I guess, just because you have grip where it's needed and it's not like all over the sock. So I think the placement of the grips is really nice. And like I said before, like I don't feel like this grip is grippier than a silicone grip or even like those suede pads. Those for sure, in my opinion, I find more grippy. Now these do grip your, the bottom of your boot, but it's not the most like, I guess, grippiest sensation, if that makes any sense. Like I just felt that it could be grippier, and I feel like in future like versions of the sock, they can try to make it just a little bit grippier, just because right now, like they're good, like it does its job, but I would like to see it a little bit more grippy. Maybe change the material, or just maybe implement another material that is grippy intertwined with this one, so there's like a mix. The sock itself is on the thinner side, but there is just sections where it is padded. Here in the toe, there is just a little bit of extra padding, and I find this to be nice just because, obviously with boots they're super tight, and it's just gonna give you just a little bit of like a softer feel right there in the toes. So I actually don't mind that. Me personally, I usually like a really thin sock, but this honestly doesn't feel too bad. Like it's not like super thick; it's just slightly padded, which I don't mind. Here in the bottom, like I said, it is on the thinner side, and so there is some padding here, but just very minimal. You guys can see like the ridges here. That's basically the padding. Here in the midfoot of the sock, I guess there is no padding whatsoever. It's just like the thin material, like the knitted material. And then here in the heel, there's just a little bit of padding. Again, same amount as here. And then moving up the heel, I found right here, where the ankle area is, there's just a little bit more padding. So this is more significant compared to what is down here. And I actually don't mind this just because if you do have like a soccer cleat that does like have a pressure point up in the heel, this actually does a really nice job of alleviating that, and so you don't feel it as much. Obviously, if you get kicked here, you're gonna feel it, but I feel like it does a really nice job of like just in case you have like a pressure point in the heel around your soccer cleats. So I actually really like this little bit of padding, and it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really bother like the rest of the sock, like that goes inside the cleat. So for me, like I actually really like this little extra padding here in the heel or like ankle area. But overall, this sock does lean towards the thinner side. Um, I was told that they are planning on making a cushion variation of the sock. So if you do want more of a padded sock, more of a thicker sock, I guess just wait it out just because they will be coming out with a cushion variation of their sock. Just because I know there's a lot of people out there that just prefer like a thicker, more padded sock. Something else that I really like about this sock is the shape. Now I feel like it just really hugs your foot and it just like fits pretty close, like a second skin almost. Very similar to We Foot, like their thin socks. And these feel really good as well. Something else that I really liked is this seamless toe here, where like the seam is just a little bit like lower. It's not straight on your like toenail or like right on your toes. Sometimes I find that really distracting, and that could actually cause some pressure points for me, just because a little bit of extra material does like dig into my small pinky. So I kind of find that really annoying. And they actually here made it lower, and honestly, you don't really feel the seam whatsoever. It's basically non-existent, and there's no extra like material that's gonna like rub at your toes. So I actually really like this. And here in the toe section, once you pull the sock, it just fits nice and flush. It's really seamless. There's no extra materials. Here in the midfoot, you guys can see there's a little bit of compression in the bottom, so it hugs this part of the midfoot really nicely. It's a thinner material, like I said, but it's really nice and compressive, so I really like that. And you could also find that material in the ankle area. Um, hopefully you guys can see it right there, how it starts from here, and it does create a little bit more tension here, so it just really locks in that part of the ankle. Obviously it doesn't provide any support, but it just feels like it's just on you, like it feels like it's just part of your ankle, and there's no distraction, so it doesn't move whatsoever. And then here in the heel, you guys can see this little like L section, and it's basically supposed to hold your heel so that it doesn't move. And it actually does a decent job of doing that. It kind of creates a little pocket for your heel to sit in, and so your heel isn't really moving around, and the sock itself isn't really moving around. Now, like since the grips are like knitted into the sock, there is grips on the inside, obviously, because it is a knitted material. So you guys can see that right there. It is the same material. But the sock overall, I find that it doesn't really move once you get it on right, just because it has like a nice tight fit, and especially because of this like heel like pocket, I guess, that just locks in your heel. Now moving on to this tube of the sock, there is some compression here. There is some tension. Like the sock itself feels really nice and premium up here, and you guys can see it's like it stretches, but it kind of like is there is some tension there. So the tube of the sock never actually fell down. It feels really nice. I actually really like the way it feels. There's this little extra tab up here, and I guess it's to pull up the sock. Me personally, I never used it, and it never bothered me just because you don't really feel it. But I feel like that's something that I guess they don't really need. Um, I guess people might use it just to pull their socks up, but I didn't find myself using it. So in terms of performance, it performs well. Like the grip is there, it provides some grip. It's not the grippiest sock, like I keep saying. I feel like that's something that they would need to improve on, just making it just a little bit grippier. Something else that I didn't like about the sock is that this is a one size fits all. And I find that me being like a size 9, I'm kind of a in between size. So when I pull them, very tightly here, and then I keep shifting it, I find that there's just a little bit of extra material in the heel just because I do pull the sock like all the way down, and it kind of shifts the entire fit of the sock. So I do have to go back and kind of pull and adjust it and like pull this down so that it fits flush here. For me, that's kind of annoying just because I just want to put my sock on and have it good to go. So I feel like if there was like a smaller size, then I probably wouldn't have that issue just because there wouldn't be extra material to stretch. And also, I could see people with smaller feet having that issue where the sock just fits a little too long and there's just extra material. Even though after adjusting it, it did feel better, for me, sometimes I would get a little bit of shift here in the sock and I have to go back again and move it around. But like once I do find like a good placement for my heel and everything inside, they fit pretty good. But for me, I just find that really annoying having to like adjust the sock. And I was told that they are working on getting a smaller size for like the female players and like people with like smaller feet. Another small thing that I guess I don't really like is like the logos, that there's just too many logos. They just have Havo here on the sides and then this logo here. Me personally, I would take out these two from Havo and just have the this one right here. I understand that they want their logo just because this is their first grip sock. They're a brand new company and they just want their name out there. But overall, I really enjoyed wearing the sock. Like I said, I do really like a thin sock, and this is on the thinner side. Like that little bit of extra padding feels really nice and comfortable. Like the seamless toe, I really like just because there's no distractions and there's no extra material there to like rub on your toes. In the middle, there's a good amount of compression, and in the ankle as well. The heel feels good once I kind of adjust it, and the sock itself doesn't really move around on me, so that's actually really nice. In the tube of the sock, I didn't find any issues with it. It doesn't roll down, it stays in place. Like I said, the only issue that I had was that little bit of dead space that they can fix with having a smaller size, and also I kind of wish that the grip was just a little bit grippier, which I feel like they can work on in their second generation of the sock. So these socks are now available, and I'll leave a link down below in the description so you guys can use that link to go and buy them. I believe they have a sale right now where you can buy three for $45, which is basically $15 a sock, which is a steal. The original price for these for one pair is 25 USD, which I think is an absolute steal just because the sock, like I said, is very good. And for $25, other grip socks cost more, but for 25, like I said, it's a really good deal for this pair of grip socks. Yeah, I think this is a really good product, which is why I am making the video and why I'm saying so many positive things. Havo did send these socks over, but I'm not getting paid to make the video. They're watching it at the exact same time as you guys are watching it, so they don't get to say what I say or they don't tell me what to say. It is completely my opinions, but I honestly think it's a really good sock. And this being like their first like grip socks, like it's great. Like they put a lot of thought into these. If you guys saw the prototypes that they did make, they kind of changed it a lot just to make this grip sock as perfect as it can be. Is it perfect? No. But I feel like it's a really good attempt for their first pair of grip socks. But yeah, that's it for the review on Havo grip socks. If you guys do have any questions, something that I didn't mention in the review, just let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.